Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's B.E.S.T standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go, I see you. And let's dive into today's B.E.S.T standard. Hello everyone, my name is Sarah McCarthy and thank you for joining me as we break down the following standard. Today's standard is MA.4.M.2.2 and the standard says to solve 1 and 2 step, so 1 and 2 step, addition and subtraction real world problems involving money using decimal notation. For example, an item costs $1.84. If you give the cashier $2, how much change should you receive? And what coins could be used to give the change? Looking at this question right here is awesome, but we need to understand that students need to know the value of coins, so we might need to provide some remedial resources there for students. With this one, it says at the grocery store you spend $14.56. If you do not want any pennies in change, how much money could you give the cashier? So it's really thinking about the value of coins plus the operation of coins. So those are just some sample problems, and while we're at it, let me go ahead and pause here to let you know that this document that I am marking up all over, it's not something that I create, it's something that's provided by the Florida Department of Education. They release it to the public, and we as teachers can use these resources to break down the standards, and I'm just showing you how I break them down in order to create the resources for you that are strategically aligned with your taking on the B.E.S.T membership. So I'll show you all the resources aligned to this standard in just a moment, but let's go ahead and continue breaking down the standard. Okay, so what are some related benchmarks here? Well, we have MA.4.M.2.2, and that's where we're practicing adding and subtracting using decimals. Where are they coming from? With the vertical alignment. In second grade, they did have 1 and 2 step problems with money, but they were using the cent sign instead of decimal notation. And then in 5th grade, students will solve real world problems with money. So you can see here from 2nd grade, it's been a little bit since we've talked about money. There isn't a benchmark in 3rd grade that aligns vertically with this 4th grade standard. So we need to make sure that we're really breaking it down and making it make sense and reviewing some of those background knowledge skills that they got from 2nd grade. Let's take a look at the purpose and instructional strategies section. It says here that the purpose of this benchmark is to connect money concepts to adding and subtracting decimals. This benchmark can be taught in tandem with the addition and subtraction of decimals to the hundredths, which was that standard that we mentioned before, NSO.2.7. In other words, while you're hitting that NSO.2.7 standard, make sure you're working with this one too. We need to make sure that students have opportunities to use multiplication to count coins, and when solving problems, invite flexible strategies there. For example, if you were finding the change, one student might use subtraction, while another student might count up instead of subtracting. It says here that students need to understand how different coins and bills relate to each other. The way that we can really invite those flexible strategies in is when students are responding with how they solve the problem. You can also say, did anyone else solve this another way? I've noticed that students really do love trying to figure out the way that other students think, and sometimes it creates a way that makes it easier for them to make sense of the problems too. A common misconception could be that students add and subtract incorrectly or not assigning the like place values, not lining them up correctly. and making computational errors in that sense, okay? Here's some examples of instructional tasks that you can look at to see the standard in action, and another one right here. So we're just seeing multi-step problems, 1 and 2 step problems. So in this one, buying a comic book for $5.34 and another comic book for $9.55, you're paying with a $20 bill. So first you might add the 2 comic books together, then subtract it from 20, and then it says how much change would she receive back. So you can see there that would be a 2-step problem. I think we're all done going over the standard, breaking it down here. Let's go ahead and see what resources you have that are strategically aligned to this standard. So here we are at the website. You're just going to click Members Enter here and click Taking on the B.E.S.T. Make sure that you're logged in. Go to 4th grade. Scroll down to the M strand. And then we want MA.4.M.2.2, Money Real World Problems. That's funny, huh? So the first resource that opens up the first page are where your bronze resources are located. This is where your video lessons and printable student guides are located, so students can take down their notes. So you just click play and students can follow along with this printable guide. The bronze, silver, and gold plans all have access to this printable. All right, you can see here that we have one that says like Drake has 2 $10 bills, 3 $5 bills, 4 $1 bills, 3 quarters, 5 dimes, 2 nickels, and 9 pennies. He wants to purchase a shirt and a pair of jeans for $40. Does he have enough? So first we would need to add all of those amounts and then subtract it from 40 to see if he has enough, or compare it to 40. Here we have a gift card that we're adding together and subtracting and then seeing how much money we have left. And same thing here with a question that says, what bills and coins could she receive back as change? I love that because it's not just saying what would the change be, but what bills and coins. So finding the bills and the coins that could be represented here. So we really need to make sure that students that we're practicing multiple reads with these problems to make sense of them and draw it out if we need to, breaking it down, and that's what we do in the video lessons. Okay, if you go to the silver resources, if you have the silver plan for this standard, we're going to go right here. You can always go back to that bronze video lesson. And here we have the printables, the answer keys, and your math misconception mystery video. Let's click on the printables. Here's that same video lesson that we just pulled up in the bronze. But with the silver plan, you have access to more problems that were similar to what we just did in the video lesson. Okay, so just taking it real quick, you can see it's all based on money. We've got decimals limited to the hundredths place because we're dealing with money. Here we have a math mission, which is a math task. It says that Chelsea wants to purchase the equipment to record videos. Below is her list of equipment and the cost. Part 1 says she has a certain amount in her savings account, so what can she buy? And part 2 says how much money does she need to earn to purchase all of the equipment that she wants. So this is a great way to incorporate a real world setting here. And then finally, with the silver plan, you have access to the Math Misconception Mystery episode. Here it says a slice of pizza costs $1.75 for 1 slice. Christian orders 2 slices of pizza and hands the cashier a $5 bill. What bills and coins could he receive as change? So students will first solve this. Notice that Christian is ordering 2 slices of pizza. So you could use multiplication here because we have 2 slices of pizza that both cost the same, but we can also see this as an addition problem where we're adding $1.75 plus $1.75. In this, all you have to do is press play. You just press play and I walk students through the entire process. After they solve it, they'll watch as 4 characters also solve that problem, the same problem that they just did. Those characters are just me dressed up in silly costumes with silly accents. 3 of the characters are going to make a mistake that students tend to commonly make, and only one of them has the correct answer. So they really have to go through and perform some error analysis thinking going on. And then they fill out this detective report stating who the most reasonable answer belongs to and evaluating the work of the others, okay? Then we'll go down to the gold plan. If you have the gold plan, you have access to everything. So you can go back to the bronze resource at any time. You can go to the silver resources right there. You have these breaking down the best videos, which is what you're watching right here. It's just right there with all of your resources, and it's ad-free. Now, these videos can also be found on YouTube. It's just one of the perks of being gold members. It's right there for you. But with the gold plan, you have this mini assessment for every standard with a variety of question types. They're about 4 to 5 questions long, and you can use this as a mini assessment or a practice test or just extra practice in general, however you want to use it. There's your answer key. And then, of course, we have McCarthy Math 155, which is mostly the reason why people select the gold plan. So if you have the gold plan, this is probably one of the biggest reasons why, is because you have access to a daily math intervention that's aligned to the Common Core standards. Now, we used to have the Common Core standards in Florida, and now they've changed to the B.E.S.T standards. But there are a bunch of skills, like a bunch of skill videos that you can use here to build those confidence muscles in your students. So click that. It's called McCarthy Math 155 because there's 155 videos for each grade level. So let's click on 4th grade. And in 4th grade, let's see. In 4th grade with Common Core, we did not spend as much time adding and subtracting using decimals. We related fractions in decimals, but it wasn't until we got to 5th grade that we practiced adding and subtracting decimals. So if we go back, you would actually have access to 5th grade. Operations with decimals has videos with adding and subtracting decimals. Now these might go to the thousandths, so you want to be a little careful here. Just taking a look at each of the problems. So like if you pulled up 5th grade day 57, most of these look good except for this one right here because it goes to the thousandths place, but everything else looks okay and able to be used. So you could definitely use that if you wanted to. Now, but you can see going back to 4th grade that we have a lot here. So we do have adding and subtracting with regrouping, 8 video lessons there. It just doesn't quite go to the hundredths place with this. But you can see there's a lot that will definitely play out. Okay, so it's a great resource to have. So if you're taking on the B.E.S.T videos, but you know your students need more practice, this is a great place to go. One more thing, and that is that in the standard, it said that it would be great to teach the standard that we're going over today, M.2.2, in tandem with NSO.2.7. So this is where we're really breaking down addition with decimals, using base 10 blocks, using money, using standard algorithm. Okay, so there's a lot more video lessons here that you can pair up with that money word problem standard. Okay, all right, I think that is it. I hope that this was helpful to go over this standard today, that now you feel like you understand what's to be expected of your students and that you are aware of all the resources that you have at your fingertips that are strategically aligned to this standard with your taking on the B.E.S.T membership. Before we go, let me remind you that what you choose to wake up and do every day with your life, it really does matter. Thank you for showing up and stepping into the best version of yourself every day so that you can inspire your students to do the same. Also, thank you for inviting me into your educational space, and I know that you are busy, so I'm going to let you go, okay? And I will see you in another episode real soon, all right? Bye. Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm going to ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best of my ability. All right, for real now. Bye.